Well, good morning. Hey, it is Melanie Mitro, and I'm super excited. And I say that every time I start a new broadcast or a new training segment or, sharing information with all of you. Really, truly, I do get absolutely pumped to talk about what I do as a lifestyle coach. And so today, I'm going to share with you a little bit of a controversial topic and one that many people ask me. And so, if maybe this is your first time logging in and listening to one of my live YouTube broadcasts, so let me just very quickly introduce myself. My name is Melanie Mitro. I have been a Team Beachbody coach for 6.5 years. It will be 7 years in May of 2011 that I actually started my physical transformation with the company. And it will be 7 years in July that I have been building my business. Now, my background, I come to you today as having a background in special education. I have my master's degree in special education, and I have my undergraduate degree in psychology. I do not have a degree in social media, YouTubing, blogging, leading a team, building an online business, network marketing, none of that. No sales experience, right? I've come to you as somebody who has uncovered that she really does have a passion, right? I have this incredible passion for seeing people reach their fullest potential in life, whether it is through their health and fitness journey or it is building a business. And I love it. Now, just because I say I love what I do does not mean that I love my job every single day. It does not mean that the last 6.5 years of my business have been easy by any means. And I share a lot of the great things that happen, but I will tell you that I also share some of the rough patches that I have encountered in my business too. And that is just a part of the growth process. And it doesn't matter, what business you become a part of, there always are pros and cons. And so one of the things that I want to share with you today is this thing, right, that keeps popping up that we've really been noticing over the past 18 months is there's been a lot of change. There's been a lot of in and out. There have been a lot of, individuals that have come into the business. There have been a lot of leaders, or I should put in quotations, leaders that have left the business. And I've had this question asked to me quite a few times. Why are so many Beachbody coaches leaving the business? Well, I made you a list because what I did was, instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I think people are leaving, right? And just started spouting things out. I took a step back, and this is really what I did. I was like, okay, why are people leaving the business, right? And I've been very successful, right? I've been the top coach in the organization for 4 consecutive years. Right now, our team is still the #1 team in Team Beachbody. We've had tremendous success. I've got tremendous incredible leaders that are a part of my team. But why is everybody not succeeding? Why isn't everybody successful? Why do people actually choose to leave? And so I started, the thing this morning is I really started to sit down and I started to say, okay, what is it that people are saying? I've watched numerous videos and people going live and people sharing with me, what they've been hearing. And here are some of the things, right? I'm just going to read to you some of the things that I put down. No income opportunity. It's a dying network. Oh, did you hear they changed their policies and procedures and they're dissolving the coach network? I've heard that one. It's oversaturation. I can't find any people. Everybody has Beachbody on demand. Everybody's drinking Shakeology. Everybody's a coach. Oh my gosh, my income has decreased, right? The company, the company's decreasing. Their company income is going down. I've lost my passion. I'm just not passionate about this anything more. I just don't love what I do. I don't want to run challenge groups. It's a lot of work for a little bit of income. I've heard a lot of, couldn't build a team. I could retail, but I couldn't build a team. And so that really capped me out in my income. And so I've heard a lot of these things that people are telling me. These are reasons why people have said in general, not even just my team, but in general, out in the world, these are things that people have been saying. And so I kind of took a step back, and it's really easy, right? It's really easy to listen to what somebody says and listen to a live video and go, oh yeah, yep, that makes perfect sense. But you always have to remember, you are hearing something from one side of the story. And so anytime you hear somebody say their reasons why they left Beachbody, it is their reason why. And I always like to, because I have a lot of experience in the company, I always want to dig a little bit further. I want to ask a few more questions because some of the people that have moved on have been extremely successful. They have achieved elite status. They've achieved some pretty great accolades in the company, and then they chose to leave. And so the first thing that I always say when people decide to leave, it's like, when was the last time that they worked their business? When was the last time they were that rank? What sort of happened in that process? And so let's kind of dive into this a little bit more. And this is what I want to tell you, right? So number one, when I took a step back and I looked at the reasons that people were giving me and the people that have moved on, right? I look at number one, I look at this one thing, and it's that income. Okay, why has that person's income dropped? They'll say, I was an elite coach, I was really successful, and their income dropped. And I take a step back. And of course, we always want to say it was the company's fault, or the network stopped growing, or we moved things to Beachbody on demand. So number one, yes, did the company move and shift a little bit? Absolutely, but we had to, right? I love that Beachbody is innovative. They do not stay complacent. They really look towards the trends and they say, okay, we know that the world is going digital. We know that DVDs are phasing out, just like cassette tapes did, right? Just like VHS is no longer a thing, right? We got on board and said, we need to make a shift as a company. So we need to do that now. And so what did they do? They made that shift. Now, when they made that shift, did it have an effect? Absolutely, right? Was there an uncomfortable period? Absolutely. But guess what? During that uncomfortable period, the company didn't sit back and say, well, we don't know what's happening, right? We've got a problem, but we don't know why it's affecting the network. They said, network. What's going on? What are you seeing? What do you think? They went to the coach advisory board, right, that I get to be a part of. And we talked about it. We talked about what the decisions they were making and how it was affecting the company. And literally in November, our coach advisory board scrapped, the company scrapped some of the things that they were planning to do because it wasn't going to benefit the network and completely changed. Do you know why? Because they are saying to themselves, we want to make sure that this network thrives. We know that people's livelihood depends on the decisions we make as a company, and we want to make it so that every coach is succeeding. We want to give them the best choice of success. And we made a change. And guess what? When the launch of 80-Day Obsession happened, we had the biggest launch, bigger than 21-Day Fix, bigger than any other product we have ever released, biggest launch to date. Holy cow, right? We innovated. It got uncomfortable. We struggled. We leaned in. We didn't lean back. We leaned in and we said, what do we need to do to change? We innovated. We changed. We tried again. Did we do it perfectly with 80-Day Obsession? I'm sure we could fix a little bit, right? But the point is we leaned in. Now, here's the thing. It created new income opportunity. People were reaching their highest paychecks ever. People are advancing in rank. And all of a sudden, we're beginning to see this shift, right? So when people say there's no income opportunity, they were leaning into a point in the business where they had come in when the 21-Day Fix was huge and they were seeing great success and it was just happening. And then we hit a little bit of a rough patch, which every company will. Every company will go up. Every company will have a dip. And the really great ones, the ones that have a vision and a strong why, and know what products and services they want to provide to people, are the ones that are going to continue on. And I, in my heart, see that our company is that way. So people that are saying there's no income opportunity, it is because they stopped working when it got hard, or they pulled back. Because when it gets hard, you have to read more personal development, right? You have to lean in. You have to share more. You have to be creative. You have to have that grit. And some people said, that's not what I want to do. And they chose to take a step back. And anytime you take a step back, when you're high, when you're doing well, there will always be an after effect, a lag effect that will happen afterwards. The second thing, dying network, right? So of course, it's so easy for people to say, like, the network is dying. They're getting rid of the network. Other people are pulling from policies and procedures. Oh, they're going to dissolve the network, right? Here's the thing. unless you hear it from the company, right? That is a false statement. And I look at that and I say, nowhere in the history of Team Beachbody, and if you look at our company as a whole, our company has gone from being infomercial heavy, right? Direct sales side, right? Where they were making a lot of income off of, their infomercial business. Do you know that we have completely shifted and the bulk of our income is coming from the network side of the business, right? We, as the network, the coaches, make the bulk of the income for the company. There is no reason, if they dissolved the network, there would be no company. There would be no Team Beachbody, right? So we are the biggest source of income part of it. You've seen them pull back on the infomercial side, which is kind of incredible. So that, again, false statement. Oversaturation. That's the next one I hear all of the time. I was actually away this weekend, right? I was doing this girls weekend with some of my friends and we were talking about it. And I just said it, we were at breakfast and I was like, gosh, I hate when people say that our market is saturated, right? Market saturation. No, not on every turn and every corner is somebody on Beachbody on demand. No, there are still people on a daily basis that are like, what is Shakeology? Right? No, it's just that, have you ever wanted to get a new car? And when you want to get a new car, right, what do? Right? When you get a new car, you go and you say to yourself, all right, I'm going to go test drive this Honda Pilot. And you're like, I haven't seen a Honda Pilot. And I really want to test drive a Honda Pilot, right? And so you go and you test drive it. You like the car and you leave the lot. You go home and you're driving. And what do you see everywhere? All of a sudden, you start to see Honda Pilots every single place that you are going, right? Now you're beginning to become aware. When I became a coach, right, I friend requested all these other coaches, right? Friend requested coaches, put myself out there, was wanting to see what everybody else was doing. All of a sudden, my newsfeed, my Instagram, my Facebook became Beachbody coaches. All of a sudden, everywhere that I went, I now saw those people in my newsfeed. Why? Because I was searching hashtags that were Beachbody related. Now, the minute I said to myself, I can't market to other Beachbody coaches, I need to go somewhere else and direct my energy to finding people that are not in Beachbody, I started to realize, holy cow, there are so many people out there that have failed at their nutrition, that have failed at their fitness, that are going to the gym but have no idea how to eat healthy. Oh my gosh, have you ever talked about emotional eating on social media? There are so many women out there that need support, right? There is no oversaturation. There are also a lot of people that are Beachbody coaches that don't run challenge groups, that don't support their customers. So guess what? People may know of the products, but they're looking for a supportive community. So if you're an awesome coach, right, you're going to attract people to you that are looking for that kind of support and service. All right, let's talk about this. So not finding people is totally irrelevant. If you learn to become good at marketing and pitching to your niche and finding other people, which means you are constantly growing and leaning in and training yourself and doing what our company is doing and staying proactive instead of reactive, right? And thinking ahead, like, how's social media changing? How do I get ahead of this? How do I make sure that I'm learning the new social media so that I can connect with people that need what I have to offer? All right, the next thing is this. I hear this a lot. I've lost my passion, and this is why I quit. I needed something that I was passionate about again. Do you know what? Every time, think about this. When you start dating somebody, right? I think about when I started dating my husband, and I just thought, I was like, I got butterflies all the time. Oh, it'd make me so nervous, and I would blush, and it was new, and it was exciting, and he's the best thing since sliced bread, and I was like over the hills infatuated. Everything was wonderful. The passion was there. We didn't have to work at passion. But then we got comfortable, right? The newness wore off. Then we started to understand, like, we started to see each other's like weird quirks and things that we did that annoyed each other. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, if I make a list of pros and cons of Matt, right? Not everything is going to be a positive. We all have negatives. And I look at business, everything won't always be a positive. There are going to be positives and negatives in every relationship and every business. But in order to keep a passion alive, what do you have to do? You have to work at your marriage. You have to work at your relationships with your friends. You have to work at your business. You continually have to work at the business opportunity you're a part of. And if you don't like a piece of it, you lean into it. You say, okay, how do I make this something I enjoy? Or do I delegate it, right? How do I simplify it? It's not a one size fits all relationship. It's not a one size fits all business either. Keeping your passion alive means you are invested in personal development. It means that you're invested in finding new ways to be efficient and effective. It means that as you grow, I just read this book, and if you are struggling in any way, it's called Be Humble, Stay Hungry, and Always Hustle. And this book, right, Brad Lomenick talks about how he, as one of the owners of a company called Catalyst, how he really learned how to keep his business humble and hungry and stayed and hustled, and what were the key characteristics to continually reinventing and keeping yourself on the upswing. It was so good. So if you lose your passion, you have to find it again, and you find it by leaning in and figuring out what are the things you love about what you do. The next thing, I have two more, and then I promise you I am done. The next one is this: could it build a team? Look, you can go into any company and you can retail the heck out of a product, right? You can retail. You have a warm market when you get started. Everybody that comes in that has some people that they can lean into is going to be able to build an income initially, right? So the initial success will always be big. But the bottom line is, in network marketing, the thing is building a team creates your residual income. Unless you are going to become a retailer and you are going to work ridiculous hours at retailing, right? You will hit sort of a ceiling. And building a team, developing your leadership skills wasn't something that came naturally to me. It was something that I had to work at. But because I leaned into that, what happened is my team began to grow. The residual income started to happen. And it's the same thing. I see people that get to even 1-star or 2-star in their business because they've got a husband, or they've got a mom, or they have a friend that they were able to help get to diamond. They were able to advance in rank, but there was no depth in there. And the depth comes from the person's ability to inspire vision, inspiring the ability to take action, and motivating and moving a tribe of people in a direction to reach a goal, right? And that is what Team Beachbody does as a company. And the last thing is this. People are going to say it's not fun anymore. I know I already talked about that. And you know what? Here's the bottom line. It's not always going to be fun. Not every aspect of my business do I love. Yes, people are going to come in, they're going to come out. There's going to be, seasons and periods where people are a part of your life. But the basics, the principles of building a business, whether it is a brick and mortar business or it's an online social media or network marketing business, will always be the same. You are acquiring new customers. You are building a brand. You are sharing that brand. You are innovating. As times change, you are staying innovative. You're staying hungry, and you are learning the new ways to share and grow and lead people in the new direction. And here is what an author said. His name is John Taffer. I was listening to Lewis Howes this morning, and he was the podcast guest this morning. He wrote a book about, I think it was like, no, don't BS yourself. And he talked about excuses. And he says, people make excuses. And it's basically a rationalization of a mistake. And I'm not saying that people have made a mistake, but I am saying that when you talk about the reasons why you left any kind of company, unless it's shutting the doors for business, there is always something that could have been leaned into. There is always something, because this is a company that continues to thrive, that continues to innovate. And when people go out there and make these crazy videos and try to justify it, I always take a step back and I say there are two sides to every story. And a lot of times what we're putting out there, the justification that we keep putting in front of other people, right, is our justifying our decision instead of letting our activity do the work. And I promise you, if you can influence people, if you can teach people a skill to live a healthier and fulfilling life, if you can learn how to lead by studying what other leaders have done, of reading personal development, of implementing and innovating, staying focused in your business activities, in the right activities, you too can build a thriving business. So I always say, take it with a grain of salt. Ask questions, lean in when you see a video or you see something that you're like, is that really true? Don't take it for surface level. Always ask questions, right? And you can build a successful business too. Guys, I hope this helped you. I hope this gave you some insight. I hope that these tips really made you kind of take a step back and say, I get it. I get what it's like to build a business. I know it's going to be hard work. I know it's not always unicorns and butterflies, but I'm willing to do the hard work, not just when it's easy, not just when it's on an upswing year, but when it's on a trying and growing year too. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you some insights, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday.